It's a Wednesday, and we welcome you to the Uganda We Want here on Church of Uganda Family TV. Edrine Osteen Mukalazi is my name, and of course, this program is out of the partnership between Church of Uganda Family TV and the Interreligious Council of Uganda. Today, we know that there's quite a lot that is happening in the country. Of course, when we look at what is happening in politics, of course, political parties are still on with their nomination processes. Of course, you see, we see NUP, PFF, and NOP already with their nominations. And of course, the Electoral Commission issued a roadmap for the special interest groups at parish level. The elections should be next week. But also, last week, a lot happened. Of course, we saw a mediation meeting in Remiaga that costed a life. This was so unfortunate. And of course, still we saw videos of people who were part of the procession that was during the president's nomination procession. Now, we saw a group of young people robbing people in broad daylight. Of course, by yesterday, more than 20 had been charged in 2 courts, and of course we await to see, but this was not called for. This was really not the kind of Uganda we want. Young people robbing people on streets in broad daylight. But anyway, that happened, and what can we say? Since the matter is in court, we await to see what comes out. Now, today we are looking at the positive role of religious leaders in the general elections. We know there is a lot happening in politics, and of course we are heading into the D-date, and of course by around very soon we shall have nominations by the electoral commissions. The parties have already started nominating. NRM will have their primaries very soon, I think probably about next week as well, and other political parties that will carry on primaries. We are waiting to see the candidates they endorse for the general elections. But now, even as this goes on, in some places, we have already started hearing stories of religious endorsements, where some people say, now vote for this person because, this person is ours. And, people are interpreting it in a different way. We are interpreting it in a different way. But anyway, when should this endorsement come, especially if it is coming from a religious leader? Do they even have to endorse someone? And if they are to endorse someone, how should they do it so that it doesn't cause chaos at the end of the day? Today, we have Bishop Andrew Lugolobi. He's IRCU, that is Interreligious Council of Uganda Board Member. Bishop, good morning.
Good morning to you and all the viewers of Family TV.
It's a pleasure having you once again here.
I'm also humbled to be with you, and also to be given an opportunity to share and discuss on such a pertinent matter.
We are actually honored to have you this morning because we are discussing a pertinent issue at a very critical time where a lot is happening in our country. But as we get into this topic, I'll request you to first of all greet our viewers.
Good morning to you all our viewers. Andrew Lugolobi, I'm the Secretary General, the Born Again Faith in Uganda. I'm also a board member at Interreligious Council of Uganda. It's a pleasure to be with Family TV today.
Well, starting from endorsements, yes. We are in a season where everyone would want to have someone who they share the values with being voted for. And in some places, we have had people coming out to complain and say that this particular religious leader is endorsing this particular religious leader. We've also seen religious leaders, for example, in Mityana, a bishop is coming out to contest as a member of parliament. We've also seen other people. There is also someone else in the east who is also coming to contest. And so, what is your comment on this?
To begin with, we always talk to the leaders when you feel you want to aspire, because it is your freedom to desire, to have a desire for an office. However, but when it comes to the reality of it, and you are going into politics, we usually tell them that what you do, first of all, resign the spiritual duties, hand over to some other person to handle, then you go and join politics. Because when you come as a religious leader into politics, you are going to cause a lot of chaos, and many people may misinterpret your action. They may even think, some may even perceive it to be, it is a decision of the entire religion or faith that you are being endorsed to come and contest with the backing of the entire faith. But most of the times when you try to follow, the leaders are not aware. Like the incident of the one you mentioned of Mityana. We are not aware. We were surprised to see a photo in the papers. It caught us by surprise. And I think we have to learn from it. To us, whenever something happens, we pick a lesson. We pick a lesson out of it. So it belongs to a certain fellowship, a local grouping, which is not directly under my authority, but we know him as a Pentecostal. And the other thing, the attire he was putting on was not our attire. It was representing another faith. So there was a misrepresentation, and most of the people thought maybe he was an Anglican bishop, which was not true. So we learn a lot from that. I don't know why he did so, and I think we need to find time to sit with him, and maybe also those leaders who are directly answerable should also take the initiative or initiating the process of how they can mitigate the issue. On the other side of why religious leaders are coming in, it might be as a result of selective enforcement and selective application of power. That when a given politicians go through from the elective politics, when they sit in offices and certain religious groupings approach them for a certain function or for a certain purpose, they do not comply, because they openly say, we don't belong to you. So now there are some religious groupings which feel segregated, and now I think that is moving them to come out openly to try to entice their colleagues and other faithfuls to go and join. However, it is not a right practice under the laws of Uganda. Yes, so it is not a right practice, and it wouldn't be good to come out openly to pronounce yourself or on the position or on the decision you are taking as a religious leader, because all other people belong to you. When we sit in the office of a religious leader or a faith leader, all people respect us and they come to us. We are the referral. So when they get issues, it is us they run to. So when I already present my position to all of them, then I bias my position. That even when I come and make a statement, the statement may be implied to be biased, leaning on a given position because there's someone I am endorsing. So it wouldn't be a good practice in case it is really happening. I've not gotten a chance to directly hear one, save for the rerun in Kawempe, when a given group came together and they pronounced themselves that this position, we have to take it. Save for that, I've not heard of the most recent. But as religious leaders, we also have to, we learn. We learn, because as you know, we unlearn and learn. So in case there is a practice which we really perceive that this is negative, and it will affect our position, our impact, and our influence, we have to work upon it and revise our notes, that we come and prepare to make every time we make ourselves better. That we present ourselves better for the better Uganda, as you know. Because it is a Uganda we want.
Bishop, in the same development, still talking about, for example, a politician. They have already expressed their interest. There are billboards and posters all over. And then they organize a function, for example, in the name of a Thanksgiving, but already, and they invite this religious leader, or they invite you, Bishop Lugolobi. Maybe this person is your congregant, and so he or she invites you to grace at the event. Isn't this perceived as already an endorsement that now that Bishop Lugolobi is also here, he's already endorsing this?
No, that's not an endorsement. An endorsement is different. We are open.
Okay.
We are open, and we serve the population. We are not limited to a given color. We are not limited to a given tribe. You know, religious institutions cut across. It is only the cultural institutions that limit to a particular culture, to a particular language. But with a religion, you find a Muslim from border to border. Regardless of the tribe, regardless of the practices, regardless of the norms, the person pronounces Islam. So Islam, the religion or faith, goes wide and deeper. The depth of religion into the family, into the country or the nation is deeper. It goes beyond the borders, the boundaries of Uganda, the Bunyoro, Chitara. It goes beyond. So we have to be liberal, and everyone who invites us for a function, we attend. It's a matter of how you have invited us. Because there are those who perceive that when they go on radio and say, all of you come, all of you are invited, and they think then we are invited. But when you approach a religious leader, you extend an invitation. They always ask for, what do you want me to do? So they grace us with a word. Definitely, that is our duty. We put in a lot of money to organize crusades, to organize functions, gospel missions, to preach to the people. So when we invite me, when you've brought people together, it is an advantage to us as religious leaders that we speak to the congregants, to the people who are in the gathering. So it is an advantage to us. And when we are invited, we attend, regardless of the color, because we belong to all of them. They all our people. They all our faithfuls. So we do not segregate. We don't put in barriers of tribe. We don't put in barriers of the color, because the color has changed. Even those who are in yellow today were formerly in red and green. So the colors change. We cannot be bound by colors. They are all our people, and we bless them. And a blessing is not limited to someone's aspiration. It is a duty we are given.
What would be the impact of especially the endorsement if by error you end up endorsing someone knowingly or unknowingly? What would be the impact? One, to the congregation, but also to those who believe in you.
But by the way, when I will start with the opponent.
Yes.
Because the person who says he has endorsed, he must be on the other side. So, and to some people say, because he has laid his hands on me, and now it is done, as it was with Ben-Hinn, Pastor Ben-Hinn. So he lays the hands on you, then the divine impartation, I am now endorsed for everything.
Yes.
But remember, it is it Proverbs? It must be Proverbs. Let me check the scripture. that to be on record. Proverbs 16:33. It says the lot is cast into the lap, but every decision is from the Lord. So we do the voting, but the Lord leads the steps. The decision is influenced by the Lord. So even if I endorse you, it is not an assurance that you go through. And for the opponent, in case you've seen that someone has been endorsed by the spiritual authority, you can also run to the person or any other person also to lay their hands on you and also give you that mandate, divine mandate. Then you have an equal standing. It shouldn't be looked at as we create an enmity, because we have different religious backgrounds and religious beliefs. And when we pray like a son with someone in prayer, you take it as I've endorsed you, because it is by faith. You take it by faith. And the other is annoyed because there is a spiritual impartation.
Yes.
To me, I look at we shouldn't go that way. That since he has prayed for him, now he's going to win me. Prayer is not limited to a person. You go and also be prayed for.
Look for someone else.
Look, even if you come to me, still, I still have your blood. I will not say like Isaac that the blessing is over. I will not say, no, the blessing is over. I have given it to your brother. No, to us, it's not like that. The blessing is there. Whenever you go to the priest, you go to the reverend, the blessing is there. You go to be prayed for. It is okay to be prayed for. And praying for someone is not an endorsement. It is not. But I'm presenting you to God, that the Lord considers you for a decision, because it is God who decides. It is not me as a religious leader. It is God who decides. God influences the decision of people who are casting their votes. That should be known.
Well, moving away from our endorsements, we want to. I would like to get your comment, especially from what happened in Remiaga last week, where a life was lost. But I mean, this is not the first time we are seeing this kind of commotion. Even in the early days of the NRM primaries, there was a lot of commotion in that particular area. But as a religious leader, what does this speak, especially as we head to the main elections, that if for the party we are still seeing this confusion in this constituency, that even when the party is already done with the other programs, they still have to go back for mediation, and still the mediation ends up into that everyone is accusing the other. And before you know, someone is shot, and all this bringing guns in lorries. What is your comment on this in a religious perspective, and what should we do to see that we do not have this anymore in the season we are going into?
To begin with, it was unfortunate that a life was lost in such a scuffle, in the bid for power, and moreover for just a member of parliament.
For constituency.
In the constituency, very deep in the village, not in the city, but in the village, with the biggest population. Cows are more than people. In the constituency, the cows are more than people. It is unfortunate that happened. But it was foreseeable, because as you have just put it, that it wasn't the first time it occurred. It has been there. And also there were tensions before even that happened. So it was foreseeable. And if the powers that be had taken interest, that was preventable. On the side of the government, I would expect a dialogue, but that should be initiated definitely by the religious leaders, since when you talk of the tribal sentiments in Remiyaga, they are a bit low. It is as if Remiyaga Sembabule is partially part of Western and is supposed to be part of Buganda. But you little of Buganda, but more of Western. So that is why Buganda may not be having that upper hand to sit them down, because even when you listen to the contestants, those who are contending, the language is not Buganda, it is Western. So I think now that's where the religious leaders should come in. And to me, what I look at as a solution, His Excellency knows his people, because those are his people. One is a general, the other is a member, and they are also all fighting for the party card. I think he should sit them down. If it is even possible, he should offer them some other alternative, both of them, to move out of the election. And then independent people come in to contest when they are not. Both of them should be offered different career, because the government has many opportunities, more than fighting. Instead of fighting for the constituents and people losing their lives, I think the government should consider that, to have Honorable Sechikubo and General to forfeit contesting as members of parliament of Remiyaga. That will bring peace, because we're not looking at fighting. We cannot say survival for the fittest when it comes to this, because people are losing their lives, people are being injured, and we are creating an enmity which cannot be transformed in a short while. It may long live even the person. You get old, you die, but the conflict still remains between families. So to resolve that, I think we need to rethink and reconsider, to have Mr. Sechikubo and the general forfeit the standing as contesting as members of parliament of Remiyaga, be offered different opportunities, and then we have, because Honorable Sechikubo is a lawyer, he can be appointed as a judge. An alternative to that. Yes, and let us have peace in our region, because we learn from what has happened. The recent invasion which was in the city, where a gang was taking people's property, including that of the former CID boss and also CID officer. It signifies something that people are learning. What happened has been happening in different ladies and different places, burial places and other meetings, where goons would come and then kick people, steal from them and go. And a number of them are currently in court in Masaka, but not all of them. But that means that the habits are being transferred. People are learning that you can take something using a political arm, and then you take it freely and no one will touch you. So when we leave the issue of Remiyaga as is, and not handled, and not settled, it will go also to another region. And we shall wake up one day when people are being killed in every region. So that means elections would have become an evil to the community, and yet it's supposed to groom and nurture new leadership. We're supposed to have new ideas, new faces, new approach and methods in work and activity and planning. But we shall not get right people when there is such scuffles. You know, the educated or the elites do not want conflicts. That's why most of the professors are seated in universities. They don't want to participate. Yet they would be the most eligible and credible candidates for leadership. But because politics and election has become bloody, they are not willing to join such a cohort of being bloody, killing people. You have to arrest someone, you have to cause scuffle, that you are arrested, that people see that you've been abducted, things like that, that you get a sympathy vote. So things are happening. And it cannot be done by elites. It cannot be done by people who are credible. So we are losing out a cream of people who would participate in our politics and bring out the image of the Uganda we want.
How then do religious leaders come in, especially to educate with the Christians about the dangers that come with such electoral violences and the misinterpretations of scenarios, especially in politics?
We have always used our platforms. And not only that, but now specifically for the 2026 elections, as Inter-Religious Council, we are also taking a step of moving across the country for civic education and causing awareness, electoral awareness on the rights of people, what the expectation, what are you supposed to do, how can you report, how can you participate. But all this should be peaceful participation, peaceful engagement, peaceful inclusion, not use of force. So we are doing that, and we rolled it out last week. We rolled it out. So we are going to be starting moving across the regions, in 17 regions in Uganda, reaching out to different leaders, including the cultural leaders, the political leaders themselves, the candidates, the population, the local government leaders, also those we call the champions, people who have exhibited to be people of value in the community, the elders in the community, the youths, the women, the business community. Because when there is conflict, when there is a political conflict of violence, it affects all, but most especially the vulnerable groups. In the elections, when there is a violence, among those who are vulnerable are the businessmen and women. Why are they vulnerable? They are vulnerable because they have businesses to protect, they have loans from government, and someone has put a stall, and then violence comes, everything will be taken. So by virtue of the situation or environment the person is in, is vulnerable. So he's supposed to have protection, that his or her income and business is not destroyed because of violence. Because in case it happens, you see people going back to villages. Some will be imprisoned because they cannot facilitate their debts and their property taken. So the business community is vulnerable during elections. The women are vulnerable. The children are vulnerable. And these young men can be easily lured into violence and sometimes arrested, and sometimes like in 2021 we saw many of them dead on the streets of Kampala. So that is why we are doing the civic education and awareness. We have rolled it to be massive. We've been using our platforms, pulpits and media houses to speak to the community. We want them to be peaceful. In the event we disagree, you can accept. That was done by Mr. Al Gore. He did not really concede. He did not look at the election as free and fair. But he said, I disagree with the elections, but I accept because of America, because of US, because of the interests of US, because of the pride and the America, the United States of America, I accept. That lowered the hearts of men and the temperatures of those who were like, should we go and protest? They were lowered down. The tempers came down because he knew what was supposed to be said in the right time. So that is why we do that kind of engagement. We want to tell people, even if you disagree, you can, in principle, accept. You can decide to accept because you need to protect the bigger population. Because when you say no, and you say it as protest, you may be safe, but those who are going to follow you, even the innocent, may be affected. So that is why we go do the engagement, and in the past, it is on record. When you look at the post-election of 2021, during that scuffle, Interreligious Council made a lot of dialogue. We did dialogue. We sat down the presidential candidates who were in conflict. One saying, I have won the election. The other saying, I've won you, but you have robbed me. Now we had to look into the two, sit them down, and also the others for a better Uganda. Because we know that violence can never bring peace in our community. So we have been doing it, and we also been doing the advocacy for inclusion of those who have been left out. We wanted that kind of transparency, and in fact we have already engaged the Electoral Commission for the 2026 election. Several we have held meetings. We have held meetings with different government departments which are in line with the election. We have held meetings with them, and also during the rollout, we did it to Intelligence Council together with the Electoral Commission. It was done together because we are supposed to move together to cause awareness. So we've been advocating also using our media to have the youths included, to have a better platform, to have a free and peaceful elections. We had to engage police, and we are also, as Interreligious Council, we are going to be engaging police further to have the officers have a sense of humor, that in case there is anything, they should not start by shooting. I think peace they should first of all use the measure of having peace. Can you disperse people who are in a big group peacefully? That was done severally by the late Afande Umala without shooting. It was done severally by the late Afande Andrew Felix Kawesi. And it can also be done by the current office bearers. So that is what we've been trying to do. And it is fruitful. There is a lot of welcome. There is a lot of sharing of ideas. And we know that the step we have taken will lead into a peaceful 2026 elections.
Do you also believe that with these engagements, we shall see a decrease, especially in hate speech, because it is also another problem that is building up every now and then? Every day, hate speech is continuing to I mean, it is becoming normalized, especially by those that are intending to contest. So in these engagements, do you also talk about the implication of the hate speech?
Definitely, because now the later stage we shall have also to meet the different political parties and the players. To them, because when you talk to the leaders, they can prevail over their subjects. With the coming into or the emerging of the social media, it has really come with a number of issues, because the regulation is not as it was, because now we need to sensitize our people to use their devices well. It is a duo in approach. The first approach is to engage the political parties, the leaders of political parties, and the players, those they move with, to prevail over their people, and also to share with them, to show them the impact of using the hate speech, because you may annoy someone and someone takes a decision to do something he wouldn't have done. But on the other side, we've been doing legal clinics, possibly, most especially for me when I have a conference. Besides preaching, I also spare an hour for a legal clinic. And being a lawyer, because I'm an advocate, I share with them a number of issues. I share with them the marital issues, the legislations, succession, and also now I've also indulged into sharing with them about the computer misuse. So I always tell them that forwarding a message may cause you problems. Because you've seen someone and then you take a pic and then you post. You take a video, you're supposed to get permission unless if it is in public interest. But how can you measure public interest? So I always tell them that please do not do that. So we are engaging them on different forums to educate them on the law in respect to computer misuse. And also on the other side, as that is ongoing, we also now want to engage the leaders, cultural leaders. The cultural leaders are so much key into this because they also command respect and influence. So in the respective areas or regions, when we engage them, like a few years ago, there was an engagement of the cultural leaders, the Bama Saza and the others. The meeting was in Masaka for Buganda region. So there was a very big engagement by Interreligious Council. So, and now we are extending to other regions. We talk to the leaders, the cultural leaders, the cultural representatives. We tell them the impact of violence. How can you collaborate? Because collaboration is also an issue. Working together and partnership is not an easy thing, most especially if you have not used to working together. That is the most challenging part of the story, that people are used to move alone. They want to work solely. They don't want any other person because they are running away from accountability. But when we talk to them, we show them how we can benefit much when we work together, when we collaborate. And we show them how they can save their communities and members, including the vulnerables, when there is peace in their communities. So we are also going to do that engagement because it is ongoing, and we are going to do it further in the move. We are going to be moving around in the 17 regions of Uganda. So we expect to see results, and the elections come 2026 will be more peaceful. Okay. We will be more peaceful than that of 2021. Okay. So that is what we are looking at, and that's why we are now doing another method, because we did not apply that method in 2021. So now we are going to mobilize. In fact, we are going to be mobilizing about 1 million people, youths from ghetto in all cities in Uganda. We are going to be reaching out to all ghetto groups in Kampala, in the 5 divisions of Kampala. We are going to reach out to them. And those people we are going to reach out to will also include those who robbed people on the streets.
Okay.
Yes. So from Kampala, then we go to every city. We go to Masaka, we go to Arua, we go to Lila, we go to Mbale, all the cities of Fort Portal, all of them. We reach out to those people, the youths, because the youths have the capacity to do anything. Because first of all, they don't have responsibility. Those who have families, they don't even care for their children and wives, so they live a carefree life. They don't care what happens. So we are going to speak to them and show them first of all their importance when they are transformed, when they put in efforts to developing skills and abilities, how it will help them to be economically impactful and productive. So, and a number of issues we are going to share with the youths across Uganda. So that is the move we are going into. So we are going to reach out to the youths in ghettos, in key areas, because we have our people, our contact persons are coming out to zone areas where which people should we invite, which people should be invited, and we are as Inter-Religious Council, we are already putting down the messages that will be shared with them. And we believe that when we do that exercise, Uganda will be peaceful before, during, and after elections.
Okay, thank you so much. There has always been an outcry by Electoral Commission of a low voter turn-up, especially in elections, and this was also witnessed during the special interest group village elections, where still there was low voter turn-up. But when we come back after the break, we are going to see how religious leaders can support the Electoral Commission in addressing this challenge. Stick with us.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Well, welcome back from that commercial break. Just remind you that on the 6th of July, that is this Sunday, we have a very, very important event here at Janan Luwum Church House. Church of Uganda Family TV will be launching the Luganda bulletin called Amafefete. So the Archbishop will be the main celebrant on that day. We shall have a Holy Communion service. Therefore, come be part of this event. This service will start at exactly 10 a.m. in the morning on Janan Luwum Church House, 11th floor. So don't come at the 13th floor where we sit as a TV. Come to the 11th floor. That is where the event will be. That is on the right wing. So 11th floor, the right wing. There are two wings. There's a left wing and the right wing. So you come at the right wing. That is where the event will be. Of course, you are invited to be part of this memorable day. But also to remember to always watch the news, the Mafefete, every day at 6 p.m. Of course, the bulletin premiered on Monday, and so walk with us as we launch, as we have a grand launch on Sunday this week. That is the 6th of July. But also to remind you that you are watching the Uganda we want, and of course we are looking at the positive role of religious leaders, especially in the general elections. And before the break, there's always been an issue of low voter turn-up, and at one point Justice Byabakama was saying, why should we continue wasting money? She was in Parliament and saying, why should we continue asking for this money and wasting it, and you Ugandans don't come to vote, yet the government has incurred in a lot of money. But of course, even as we speak, we have people who are already biased. People are saying, I don't see any reason as to why I should be part of the voting and all that, with whichever reasons they give. However, how can religious leaders, Bishop, how can religious leaders come and support the Electoral Commission to see that Ugandans do their responsibility as the constitutions, as their constitution states, among the duties and the responsibilities of a citizen?
Maybe to begin with, the challenge of low voter turnout is growing every day.
Yes.
The reason as to why that is happening, it has really a backing of a number of issues. But when you compare the voter turnout during individual merit system, where a person could come without the leaning of a party, and the voter turnout in this era of multi-party system. Now, multi-party system demands screening a candidate in the bid to get a person in their perspective deemed to be more credible, fit for that particular seat, from presidency to village. However, the most affected positions is presidency, the member of parliament, and also the local government to local government 3. The challenge, first of all, comes out of the system. That by the time the screening is done, there are many people who query the processes. And it seems the political parties do not have referral to this, an appeal, that in case the screening is questionable and I'm not contented with the process used to arrive at a decision, it seems there is no remedy. And that is why we see people defecting from parties. Now, it does not only end at a person defecting from a party. To others may keep quiet. But that person who has been pushed by a number of people has a group behind. And when you play around the sentiments, the feelings of those who are supporting that person, you are pushing them away from participation. So that has lowered a very big population from participating because they feel offended. They feel there was no fair process to appointment or a nomination of a candidate to stand as in a given position, elective position. So we have people who are cut off from that angle. Then we also have a group, those who feel should not indulge in something which seems to be unfair. They look at the lamentation of the Uganda Independent Electoral Commission. When a candidate is arrested, when a candidate is blocked from conducting a campaign, a rally, and then the Electoral Commission says we do not have power to order police. It is the police which has blocked you and the army. Now you look at the process where others are given platform, others are denied platform. One accesses a media house, the others goes there and the generator is switched off. The transmitter is switched off. You look at that, the imbalance. Now there are those who are in their houses and they just look on and they take a decision not to participate in such an activity. So we lose out. And those who usually take a decision from their houses are the elites. They don't feel they should waste their time to go and participate where it is foreseeable that there will not be a free and fair election. So that is the second reason as to why we have a lower voter turnout. Then the other is in relation to religious sentiments. There are constituencies. I led the team from Interreligious Council as electoral observers in Kawempe, Edrine. I was there. One day when I come back, I will share with you.
we need to hear your story.
The experience. The experience was really funny. You look at almost all the candidates were from one faith. And one who was a Christian denounced Christianity and assumed immediately a name which is Arabic. Because according to him, you can only be voted when you have a leaning to that particular faith. The vote, there are 185,000 voters, but only 28,000 voters attended. That means 150,000 voters did not attend, did not participate. Are you getting me? So it is about 20% of the voters that came. 80% did not turn up. So now these are some of the reasons I've given you already. But the other was the environment was unconducive. Very early in the morning, members were moving. You know, waking up early in the morning as you wash your face, a very huge truck passes by the road with armory. People having very long guns, very long guns like this. Some of them covering themselves with nets, army green nets, with the helmets. They never said a word to anyone. But the mere movement of those heavy trucks, most people said we cannot move out of our compounds because they could foresee danger.
Yeah.
They could not predict what would happen. Having tested what happened in 2021, trucks moved like that in Kampala. And the next thing was people were lamenting. People were shot. So people remained in their homes. There was a big population that remained in their homes, particularly because they saw the environment wasn't conducive. It was full of the army and the trucks. 2, there was a group of people who were driving cars without number plates. They were putting on green hats. You know these green hats, the round hats, green hats. They are civilian hats, but green in color. Putting on jeans and also having very big, you know the sticks they use to rear cattle.
The Nkoni.
They are having Nkoni. Some putting on gumboots. It's like they are ready to fight. They are parking cars in strategic positions. You wake up in the morning, there is a car without a number plate. And it is parked there, it is not moving anywhere. And it has occupants. People were suspicious. Some said, no, we may be beaten for nothing. They all feared also to attend. Now the other group was, the biggest, almost everyone was a Muslim on the bout. And some say we do not have an interest. Now there comes in the religious sentiment. Yes. Some refuse to attend. Then the other, when we moved to different polling stations, I remember telling Honorable Balam, in fact even it is in this notebook, the results of whatever the notes are in this very notebook. I remember I was talking to Honorable Balam and I was telling him, where are your youths? Because the biggest population that turned up to vote, I'm using that as a casing point.
Yes, yes.
To showcase the issue which is at hand. So I was talking to Honorable Baram at the polling center. I'm interested to know why the youths have not attended. Because the different polling stations I had gone to, you could tell that it is above 35 who were coming in. And the majority of which were Muslims. And I was, why is it the youths are not there? And one of the answer was, it was not a public holiday. So they were in school. Yes. Because even those in secondary school are voters. At 18, senior 5 and senior 6 are eligible voters. Those at universities. So they never turned up because they were in school. Then the other group, the parents stopped them from coming. Because I managed to talk to some parents and we were like, we are fearing, these boys, you send them to go there and then they go and start fighting. I don't want to have issues. So parents, we are stopping them to come. So it is the parents who are now coming, but leaving an order. Don't move out of the compound. Because for him, when he comes, he will vote and go back home. So now, we also have another group of the elites. The elites who have decided not to attend, not to participate in the voting. And we also have another biggest percentage of those who have gone out to work. It is another big percentage. It also accounts to a very big percentage of our voters. So there are a number of factors, not leaving aside those who are in prison. Because I think about between 50,000 to 70,000 are in prison. And those we are talking about adults who are eligible voters. So we also need to also think about that some of them are in prison. And also the others, definitely, when you go to the different hospitals, all hospitals are full because of malaria and other TB, cancer, and other issues. So we also have those who are patients. So when we have a patient, the patient has someone who will take care of him or her. So we have another group of people who are also taken away, and then they will not participate. Now, as religious leaders, that's why we advocate for inclusion at all stages. And I remember we were also advocating that also the prisoners be given a chance to also participate in the elections. Definitely that should be in line with presidential, because they cannot vote for member of parliament, but they can vote for the president. So, but they are still talking of a number of issues, that where can they go to vote when they cannot vote within the confinement. You have to bring them in a free space and they will disappear. So there were technicalities. Those who are in diaspora, we have also been advocating that they also be given a chance to also participate in the election. So those, because when you go to Entebbe Airport, it is the busiest area you cannot even imagine. People are moving out, people are moving in. So those who are in diaspora, those who are out of the country, we have been advocating as Inter-Religious Council, those will also be given space to participate. And I understand, I think it might be, if I can remember well, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission told us that they are going to be given a chance to vote. I think it will be online or digital voting, possibly. I don't know whether it has been rolled out or not yet. But I remember him making such a statement. So those are the areas we had to look into. That accounts to the low voter turnout. Other factors remain inconsistent. Yes.
So you cited out quite a number, but following all these factors that cause the voter turnout, how can you, the religious leaders, support Electoral Commission in mobilizing people amidst all these factors to bring back their hope in, one, the electoral process, but also to remind them that voting is their responsibility as citizens?
When someone is offended, they also forfeit their rights. That is why, as Inter-Religious Council, we have for a long time put a very big request to the sitting government, and that is for national dialogue. There are those who will never take a step to go vote until a number of things have changed. So we look at having reconciliation meetings, but that should start with the national dialogue, where people should be given a chance to feel that they belong. A sense of belonging to some is a bit lacking and wanting. They feel they are left out. There are those who feel they do not have access to opportunities. There are those who feel they are underprivileged by just bearing a given name. When your surname becomes a problem and you do not get access to a job or to an opportunity. So there are those who feel they are offended, and the only thing we need to do, and what we have been always requesting the sitting government to accept and endorse, is the national dialogue. The national dialogue will cause healing and transformation to our country in its entirety as a whole, where everyone will start to feel a sense of belonging, because there are those who feel they were privileged during the previous regimes, and now they feel they are sidelined in the sitting government. So there are those kind of people, unless if it is a relative who is contesting, they will not come. There are those who, in fact, even the numbers we have of those who turn up, they may be turning up because of an individual. It is not because it is a constitutional duty They don't even feel it is a constitutional duty. They are not doing it as a right, as a constitutional right, but they are doing it for Andrew. Because Andrew is my brother, I will go and vote and I will mobilize votes for him.
They even say, if it wasn't for so and so, how would it?
You see. So now that means on reason as to why people do not turn up, then we should also include that those who are contesting do not have a big population behind them.
Bishop Lugolobi, let's take another commercial break. When we return, we shall be in our last part of this show, and you can as well be part of this conversation when we come back. Thank you.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Welcome back from the break. We are in our last part of this show, and feel free to be part of our of this conversation by sending in a text message and a WhatsApp message. Of course, I've seen some WhatsApp messages coming through, but you can as well be part of the conversation. We are with Bishop Andrew Lugolobi, the General Secretary of Born Again Faith, but also he is a board member at the Interreligious Council of Uganda. Bishop, before the break, you were still looking at how religious leaders can harness and mend the wounded hearts to see that they get back to their duty of being part of the election.
Yes, that the mending, the healing, the bringing back is what is really required, and we can do that. However, we are limited. Oh. We are limited because it requires, I will call it the free will. It requires the political will, and it also requires the will of the community leaders. Because now when we are handling this, as I said, we are being deceived by a number of people who are going for rallies. Some are ferried. Others come to see those who strip naked. Because a real rally, we expect to see those who have come to share their ideas on the platform and to show how practical they can do them, the reality side of it. But most of the time it is the musicians who go there, sing, jump, 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 people chant, and after chanting someone comes in and says a few words and then says, "Thank you so much for loving me." But they don't love you. They love musicians. They love musicians. Because if they love you, They would love you for the ideologies you have brought, the ideas you are sharing, the manifesto. What are you going to do? Have you shared your perspective? Because people need a Uganda. There is a Uganda we want. Do you have a picture? A pictorial view? Even if it is an essay in words. So those are issues we're looking at too. And we are also telling those who are contesting to adjust from being just crowd pullers to being a politician who comes in and sells ideas. So one of the areas we are going to be looking at, or we are looking at as Interreligious Council, is mobilizing communities and mobilizing leaders, senior and influential leaders, to take a step of, I will call it a fatherly heart, welcoming everyone in love, not to put boundaries, to open the space, of conversation, to allow conversation. Because when we allow conversation, there is a lot we shall live to. Because when you forbid a conversation, people will suffocate, and then they will react, they will boil. But when you create space for a conversation, people will speak, and then really sometimes you can be on the negative because you may be lacking knowledge in something. But when we speak out, you can be guided. People will know now how can you be helped? How can you be guided? You see. So those are the conversations we are looking at. And when we open that space for conversation, as we have always opened it, and we're going to open it broader, we expect success. As I said, we expect success because this is the Uganda, this is our country, this is the Pearl of Africa, and we can never get a country better than Uganda, regardless of the disagreements we have in leadership and administration. Uganda still remains our country, and we should still uphold it, and we should also still love it the way we're supposed to love it.
Today, when every politician is planning for their Larry, on the budget, there is a bigger budget for artists. Can we ever get back to an ideology-based Larry, where you come and sit for an hour and only listen to the ideologies? Do you think that can ever be possible in this era we are in?
No, we cannot. To me, by the way, to some of the areas I really feel should be amended, we should go back to the individual merit. Okay. Individual merit was presenting to us candidates with ideas, and we had a chance to really listen in and then take an opportunity to make a choice. And that is where we are losing most of the elites. The elites take a choice which is rational. A rational choice is taken by those who are above average. Now voting is left by those who below average, because to them everything is emotional. So if you are not rational, you are emotional. Now when you allow politics to take you the route of the emotional part of it, then everything can be done. You will throw stones, you kill people, you kick you rob people on the streets. But if we go rational, we shall be more wanting of a debate. Even if you don't come for a rally, even if you do not move to every part of Uganda, just give us a media station that covers. Give us a chance that we hear. Tell us what you want to do. Don't come to our area. Let every media house connect, that everyone may access you. Then we have a debate. One day, debate will be enough for us to choose a president. You don't need to move everywhere and people are blocked, business are blocked, people lose their property. You see, you may not even do that. We need to hear the ideology. We need to hear what you want to do. We need to hear that side of it. And that can only be by individual merit. The political parties have robbed us of ideas.
Okay.
They have robbed us of people who can debate. They have robbed us of people who are mature in politics. And that is why now we see what is happening, that we are getting more of how do you call them? Those are from performing arts, performing art, entertainment, stage play. Now we have those now coming in. Yet maybe what we also are advocating as Interreligious Council, we're also looking at a separation of parliament. We can have the House of Commons with the performing artists as people want them, but we should also have the cream of the cream as the upper parliament, where we have representation from the cultural institutions, from religious institutions, from business community, from the central government, from the local government. About 150. 150 people can be so credible to lead our country to a next stage.
Okay. Someone says, the Baganda say, all along, NRM has accused the NUP for having a galley with thieves. And this time around, the thieves were putting on NRM t-shirts and on an NRM galley. So, two things. NUP is mentoring NRM on building a galley, but also no one is safe, because even in your galley, thieves are there. So we should work on removing the thieves and not building the galley. Okay. Thank you so much for the deliberation, Council. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for the show. I'm following from Tungamo. Thank you so much for the show. I'm watching from... Okay. Thank you so much, Family TV, for today's topic. But what I believe is lacking in our politicians today is also mentorship. We are mentored by those who are not mentored, and at the end of the day, we end up doing the same things that our mentors did. And so, until when we get leadership schools that train mentors, then we still have the same problem, and the same problem will forever be until Jesus Christ comes back. Thank you so much, Bishop Lugolobi. I'm following. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Bishop talked about something very, very important. Sitting General Shande and Remiaga MP Sechkubo together. But do you think this can even be the solution? Because now, mind about the person sitting there too. One is a general, and another one is a civilian but a party bearer. So when he tells Sechkubo to leave for Geno, then Sechkubo's team will look at it as sidelining him. And when he tells Geno to leave for Sechkubo, then Geno's team will also look at it the different way. Kati omuntu agoyingewa in such a situation.
But His Excellency sat down Honorable Shanks Musherure.
Yeah.
And Mr. Sodo. So they sat down and agreed, and now there is peace in Zimbabwe, that side of Zimbabwe. So one has left for the other, and His Excellency promised to extend another opportunity to Honorable Shanks Muserure. So that means it is possible. The only way to solve an issue.
She actually came out and declared that I'm leaving for Sodo this time.
Yes, and peaceful. Peaceful. So when we sit on the table, there is nothing that can fail us. The table solves everything.
The concern is about the voters. This person's concern is about the voters. Each one has their own group.
Yes.
And so will the voters be satisfied with what you
when
agree
you
on.
sit, when you have a dialogue and agree, there is conflict transformation. The problem would have been when they have not agreed. But the moment they agree, there is conflict transformation. So you speak to your voters, we have agreed, I have another opportunity, which is even better than this. I will serve you in another capacity.
And they'll tell
where
you
you are
what
more
it did.
empowered. Yes.
They'll tell you what it did.
No, it's not clear. It is all about trying to protect the community.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Then I think Bishop, most of the people were thanking you for apart from someone who said the Lyokanga Netonya, talking about the NUP Gali and the NRM Gali, how the other is mentoring the other into building a Gali and talking about eliminating this. I think this answers what you said, what you're doing, especially for the ghettos, that when you get their top leaders, then you can, then these others will be catered for.
Very true. Very true. As I said, if we do not have good exemplaries, people will copy from the evil. So people are there to learn, and they are there to copy. So when you do good, they will copy good. When you do bad, they will copy the bad.
Shakila is talking about mentorship, that we do not have mentors. So our leaders were not mentored, or they were mentored by the wrong people, and so they are doing what the wrong that their mentors did.
It is true. It is true. Because mentorship starts with the spirit of the one who is mentoring. What is the aim? Why are you mentoring? Because someone may be mentoring when he's trying to use you as a tool. Most of these people who are mentoring, they are mentoring to use those who are being mentored as tools to facilitate their or to aid their success. But they are not training them to, first of all, uphold the country's values. You know the challenge that we have as we conclude. The challenge we have today, we have reached an extent where we have to teach Ugandans to love Uganda. That's a big mistake. You cannot teach me to love my country. You cannot teach me to love my father, to love my mother. But the issue is, there is a problem that has caused me hate my family. Like for me, I grew up in a family where there was domestic violence. I know the issues I'm talking about. I know the pain I used to have and how bitter I was. But the issue is, handle the issue and the love will come back. So we should not put budget for teaching people to love Uganda. Let us handle issues which people are pointing at as those that make them to hate Uganda. When we handle them, they will not be in need of a budget. We should be intentional. Yeah. Those who are in government and those who are not in government, who aspire. So both sides should, including us who are supposed to be in the middle, the non-partisan, or even the actors of the civil society organization and the others, because you can't do it alone. We're supposed to work together with a number of other institutions. So we should be intentional. The love of Uganda should not be taught. You cannot teach a baby to love the mother. But when the mother beats up a child, the child will hate. But when the mother changes the attitude, the baby will love back. So it is a simple thing. Let us try to list down those areas where people complain that this has made me hate my country. Let us work on them. Let us address them. People will love the country without even anyone teaching them.
Thank you so much, Bishop. Give us your closing remarks as we wind up with today's edition of the Uganda You Want.
I just want to extend thanks to the management of Family TV and also the Interreligious Council for the opportunity granted to be to sit in the studios with you. Yeah. And thank you so much for hosting. To our members and our countrymen and women, also the leaders in the country, we are looking forward for a peaceful 2026 election. This is what we have in mind, that every life matters. We do not want to lose lives. We do not want to have our young ones imprisoned. We do not want to have people who are injured. We want to have a free and fair election, and we also want to have our conflicts transformed. We need to have a dialogue. a conversation. I request every one of us to create space to listen to each other, because this is our country and we share it equally and we have the same interest in our same country. So I would love to request all of us to put Uganda on the forefront, to love Uganda, and also to love our leaders, to pray for our country that peace prevails. And also request the leaders not to abuse the authority, not to abuse the trust, because we gave them, it's called a social contract. They have a social contract. We saw them as credible. We saw them as the eligible people to hold and to lead us in a given period of time. So please do not abuse the authority. Do not abuse the trust. We have entrusted you. And we, in case we see that you are more favorable, we shall love you the more and more and more. I wish you all the best for God and my country.
Thank you so much, Bishop Andrew Lugolobi, and to your viewer, thank you so much. You started with us, and we've come to the end of this show. Thank you so much for participating and being part of this. Now, just remind you that there are a number of changes that are happening here at Church of Uganda Family TV. Therefore, we kindly request that you abide with us. So these changes have also come with change in programming. Therefore, if there is this favorite program you've been watching and you don't see it come at the time you've been watching it, please bear with us. And of course, all is for the better. We want to give you the best of family-friendly programs. And of course, one of the affected programs is Family Hour. Of course, Family Hour remains 9 p.m. at 10. Monday to Friday. However, we have an alteration in Monday, Thursday, and Friday. Now, you've been watching Parenting on Friday at 9. Now, Parenting will be on Thursday and Governance will be on Friday. So it was just a switch. And then Monday, where we have been having education, we have modified the education, and this time around you'll be watching the school, but also part of Family Hour. Not forgetting the 6th of July, where we shall be launching our Luganda Bulletin Amafefete at Jonan Luum Church House level 11 on the right wing of the level. And of course, we call upon you to be part of this very memorable event. Thank you so much. Edrine Osteen Mukalazi is my name. I've worked with Liz, I've worked with Emma, Patience, and Esther. From the entire team, we wish you a blessed morning.